Hello guys, and welcome to another day with ZIMALETA. In today's video, I want to show you how to hunt for a turbo resonator leak. What does it actually look like? What does it actually sound like? And as you could tell, my Sprinter in the back, it is nighttime, and guess when problems always happen? They always happen at night, guys. When you're driving, you're trying to deliver that load, you have to go like 2,000 miles, you're like, man, finally I'm gonna make some money. And then the turbo resonator goes and you're like, what the heck is going on? Why is it not pulling? I'm not getting any codes. What's going on? Like, what's going on with my Sprinter? And right now, that's actually the concerns that I have. Like, what is going on with my Sprinter? Because it's shooting me turbo underboost codes. I'm getting cylinder 10, low voltage, and I only have 5 cylinders. And I'm getting turbo evaporation type of, fuel evaporation type of codes, which has to do with usually gasoline vehicles. I'm still getting that code. But guys, I have narrowed it down. We also messed with a turbo actuator because that was kind of loose and the leg was a little bit stuck. I put a new turbo actuator, I put a new arm. So the turbo's being controlled fine, obviously, but we are heavily losing air. And that air is being lost through turbo resonator. However, guys, I know what you're gonna say. You got a turbo underboost condition, but let me see here. Yeah, turbo underboost, yeah. Okay, so turbo underboost condition, but you really should have like turbo overboost condition detected in order for it to be resonator or like some kind of leak. It stopped me too, because normally that's actually what it is. When it's turbo overboost condition, what's going on is usually you got a leak somewhere, and normally that leak is happening right at the top portion of the of the intake. It's that round hose that rounds up. Well, yeah, from me, like if I'm standing in front of the vehicle, it rounds out this way and it plugs in into, it rounds out this way, plugs into the intake manifold, and usually the leak is right at the bottom. At times they're going to happen elsewhere, but guys, I've been doing this 11 years. That's the only place that happens, at the very top hose at the bottom. It's like a very long seam, and it just gets worse with time. And another problem that happens, guys, is the turbo resonator fails because it's plastic. And guess what, guys? I have all the books, CDs, how to work on these vehicles all the way up to like 2008, which is quite enough, because if you mess with engines, it's enough. All this DEF and other systems, there's ways to go about it and stuff like that. The main thing is I got the right engines and stuff like that, and I'll get the right diagnostics. And I haven't read them in a while, and I really should, and I know I will actually once I have a little bit more time. But I have so much experience that I feel that I don't really need to at times, because I'm always able to figure these problems out. But guys, this turbo resonator, most of the times I replace it with the metal one, and I just don't have to worry about it. But I have a little theory going on here, okay? So we're having a turbo underboost condition, not an overboost condition, because it's happening right at the turbo. Like, it's shooting like the air, and immediately it's leaking out, and it's like turbo underboost. So why is it turbo underboost? Because before it even makes it to the engine, before it has time to travel, like, it starts leaking from there. And I'm thinking this is why we're getting a turbo underboost, because the engine cannot breathe, like it cannot get enough air, okay? And turbo overboost condition would happen generally like if the air is like forced all the way through, and then you got a leak. It kind of knows it's kind of traveling because computer calculates these things. It's just a theory, guys. And once it starts leaking out at the turbo intake, the turbo's trying to compensate, keeps pumping more and more and more, because it's not really like detected right away. So it's detecting it's pumping too much, and at that point it turns the turbo off because it's turbo overboost, and in that case, obviously the turbo cannot compensate. However, I think in cases with some other turbos, some of these other turbos, they may be more powerful or whatever, and it keeps on spinning harder just because there's a leak. And when it spins harder, the turbo actuator computer that's designed to figure out like what's going on shuts the turbo down. Well, basically turns off the turbo vanes or makes them smaller, so you're not getting enough boost, and that kind of causes a limp mode, and you can't really go that good, Turbo's still spinning because you can't just really turn the turbo off because it's being spun as the air enters the chambers. So closes down those areas, and then good luck, because you know you barely could drive, you know. But anyways, guys, let me show you in this video what does the leak actually look like. Let's go to it. Let's talk more, and hopefully after today you could figure these things out a little bit more, because guys, they are a little bit confusing. I do highly recommend getting a metal turbo resonator. The dealer doesn't sell it, they only sell the plastic one. And oh yes, I know I was telling you about the books. In the book it says, in the manual for the sprinter technicians, it says that that's where to look. The turbo resonator starts basically leaking along the seams. That's actually what goes wrong. And in my case, you could really see what's going on. So let's go to it. My best in order to show you exactly kind of like what's going on. I guess let me stand over here so the light does not really shine at me. But guys, I tried my best to show you kind of like where the turbo resonator is. It might be a little bit confusing because it's nighttime, but I shined my light at it and you could clearly see there's a seam, okay? And it's open more on the right than on the left. On the left it's about like 1/16 gap, it's about 3/16 gap on the right side. And you could clearly see the turbo resonator has separated. And in tomorrow's episode, I'm going to show you how to actually remove it, because it's a little bit complicated, because there's a lot of parts involved to remove and stuff like that, and to replace it. Now, I'm going to search for a metal type of resonator that never fails. I'm going to try to find one online, and I'm going to try to see if Amazon has it, if somebody else has it, and I'm going to link it in the description below. So that you guys could install it and just don't even think about this problem. Like, one of the good things about having a metal type of turbo resonator is that you never have to worry about it. You just install it and you forget about it. Like, it never fails. And then you just have to make sure your pipes are okay, which does narrow down like the problems, because you could expect those a lot easier and stuff like that. But guys, if you could expect one thing, you could always expect problems to happen with these printers. They're constantly having issues. And here's what I noticed. If I'm always driving mine, it has the least amount of issues. But even now, I'm having like the ABS issues that so far I haven't been able to really figure them out. And I was already thinking about replacing the ABS computer, followed by replacing like the whole fuse panel box that's under my steering column, or just go ahead and go for replacing the speed sensors like in the back. You know, so, you know, who knows? One of those things I should definitely fix it. But recently I replaced the whole rear differential about like a year ago, and I was thinking it's not gonna cause me any problems until a while, and unfortunately some's causing an ABS issue. And here's the thing, that ABS issue is coming from like probably from the computer, the ABS computer being dead, because it's not even like clearing it at all. It's not even able to read those codes by a computer. So not only that I cannot clear them, I cannot read them with the computer. And I have the ABS capable type of computer to try to figure out what those codes are. And the reason I would want to clear them, not to make the codes disappear, don't get me wrong. You clear them so you'll see if they reappear again, or at least like what is it going to do, because it's a normal type of procedure where if there's a problem, you try to replicate that problem and you write down the code so you can research it later, but you go ahead and delete the code. So when you do some things, you figure out that if it's going to come back, then the problem's still there, and you just keep going. Because if one thing is certain, you know, sometimes these printers, they throw codes for no apparent reason. And like the last video, as I told you, I have the cylinder 10 low voltage, and this is a cylinder 5 printer, and I have a code, evap code, which has to do with the evaporation of gases in a fuel tank, like a loose fuel cap or whatever. But diesels, they don't have that. So why should I have that code? And not only that, the evap does not cause any drivability issues. In my case, I am. And good thing that I see that it's a turbo resonator, because it makes me hopeful that once I do replace it, the turbo underboost condition will go away, because that is the code that I am getting. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in this video. It's the turbo underboost condition. Normally for this kind of thing, it's going to be turbo overboost condition. And underboost, normally it's because the turbo actuator is not opening up the turbo all the way. But then again, we could expect that once I replace my turbo resonator, the turbo code is still going to be there. And in this case, that means possibly turbo vanes are dirty. I think dirty in this turbo. And possibly they need to be cleaned. Or maybe this turbo even needs to be replaced. And how do I come up with this conclusion? I just recently replaced this turbo. I just now replaced the turbo actuator before this video. And when I removed the old turbo, which had damaged the turbo vanes, I put my air hose to it and I allow it to spin. And it was, the old one was spinning so well, like it was just so fast, it sounded like a jet taking off. The one I installed right now, it was spinning good, you know, but it was not like a jet at all. It was just like, it was just spinning, you know, fast, but nothing impressive. And when I installed it, I immediately noticed it's not impressive performance. It's just a standard, or I don't know, below standard or something. And I also noticed like one other thing, that the acceleration has gotten like so much slower. It's consistent, but it's slower. And I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe it's because the turbo vanes, they're opening up now correctly, and it's not a performance sprinter anymore. But guys, the other turbo that I have with the turbo vanes that just open up like crazy, the turbo actuator is still kind of strict because it's able to control the lever. So it's happy. It's thinking it's doing its job, because it's just, I mean, it's electronics. It's just thinking it's opening it up, closing it down, as long as it's working properly. But it's a mechanical part. So with the turbo vanes, I think they opened up a little bit more. And that was a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because when they open up a little bit more, they also close down a little bit more. When they close down a little bit more, you have no power whatsoever. You could be taking off on a straight street, no power whatsoever. It'll be like, and then you have to like flutter the gas a little bit, and it opens up somehow, and then you're able to just kick it and it just goes. But guys, it was so strong. Like when it actually would like open up, man, it was like the beast. It would just accelerate like crazy, guys. It was like a Mustang. You should check out some of those videos. It was so crazy. I probably should take a look at it to remember those good times. Now, it's nothing like that. It's a new turbo, and it feels like a totally different vehicle. And right now, with the turbo resonator getting even worse type of leak, I'm definitely noticing, guys, it's just like, it's just so sluggish. But anyways, tomorrow, I'm gonna hunt for a new turbo resonator in my junkyard. Well, I don't want to call it junkyard, but it's a Sprinter graveyard that I could make them alive into Frankensteins, and they're gonna get a second type of life, you know, and that's it. I could keep going from there. But I'm pretty sure you guys wonder, like, why do I have like 6 sprinters, you know? I guess that's for like another video, but I use sprinters to fix sprinters, and I get them, you know, pretty much, if they break down, I pay like, I don't know, like $2,000, $1,500 for a sprinter, depending on its condition. The last one I bought was like $1,500 in the T1Ns, like the 2012, I paid $4,600. The guy wanted like $7,500, but I mean, let's be reasonable here. It's a beautiful looking sprinter, really nicely upkept, and a lot of new parts on it. But guys, when it's got 550,000 miles and it doesn't crank over like at all, like the engine's like locked, I mean, how much money would you really spend for one of those? Because by the time you actually buy a new engine for it, it's already gonna be pricey. If you're gonna do like rebuild the engine, that's a little bit pricier. You know, I know somebody rebuilt it and cost him like 11 grand. He said I could have got a, you know, a remanufactured engine. It would have cost me like a couple $1,000s less. But guys, it is what it is. And when it comes down to, I guess, my new one, I'm gonna also make a video like what I'm gonna do about that, because obviously it's kind of interesting for you guys. And I already mentioned in a video that's going to be season 4. And I'm gonna start making it pretty soon, guys. Sometime this year I'm gonna start shooting season 4 side by side with season 3 for the sprinters, because the main thing for my channel is to get these sprinter videos out for you guys, expedite videos. And also I'm showing you guys my life, like what I'm doing like with real estate and stuff like that, and I try to motivate you guys, because I know how it is like with this life. You know, we get down sometimes because the money's not there, the opportunity's not there, and we just need to overcome our problems and, you know, hope for the best. And guys, the best will come. You just have to put yourself in the right mindset, and it's like your antennas and stuff. You tune them in the right way, and before you know, you get the right signal, and you're getting opportunities all of a sudden, you know. But problems are gonna be always there, and what's important is to learn how to solve them. And that's what I do. I solve problems, guys. And actually, entrepreneurs, that's what they do. They solve problems. They find solutions to problems that others can't find. Open up businesses, sell businesses, and keep businesses, you know, do whatever they want. And that's the type of guy I am. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourself, and God bless you. See you in my next video.